which is called Mangalacharan prayers. And then we can get started. And special thanks to Satya Sankalpa Prabhu and Akhil for hosting or monitoring the booth. And for those who all joined online, Hare Krishna, Shamchandra Prabhu, Malti Matji, few of the people I can see, not all of them.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So in the 13th chapter, we discussed about nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. Amongst other topics, Krishna talked or asked questions of who is the knower of the body, and then what is the body, then what is the knowledge, what is the object of knowledge, who is the Purusha and who is Prakriti. 6 questions were discussed. Purusha, Prakriti, Jnanam, Jnayam, and then Jnanagamyam. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Kshetrajna, Jnanam, Jnayam, and Prakriti, and 6. Thank you. Thank you for that. And in the 22nd chapter of the 22nd verse of the 13th chapter, Krishna says, Purushaha prakritistuhi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasadyoni janmushu, which is that influenced by these 3 modes of material nature, a person meets good or evil and takes birth in different forms of life. And that exact point that exact point is being mentioned by Krishna in a more detailed in the 14th chapter. The modes of material nature is a very fascinating, a very practical topic that we are going to discuss today. And the other point here is because Atma is completely having no connection with matter, then what is Atma doing in this world? If I have zero connection with for example, if you are, if you have no clue about the language of a country that you are visiting, zero clue. I mean, and the persons in that country can have basically no clue of English, zero clue, which means that there is no way to have an interaction or facilitate any form of discussion or communication, much less alone. And you've been asked to lead a team there in that country to do a project. Good luck with that. So Atma and Prakriti have zero connection. I mean, the Atma is purely spiritual, Prakriti is matter. But since we are jammed up in this world, then how is Atma being pushed? How is Atma so covered by material nature to the extent that the Atma identifies with the matter, acts according to the matter, and thinks himself or herself to be the byproduct of the matter? Srimad Bhagavatam actually mentions that, Vyasadeva mentions, Yaya sammohito jivo atmanam trigunatmakam. The Atma is thinking, I am the product of the trigunas, or the three modes of material nature. So how is it that this jiva, which is a particle of divine Sri Krishna's nature, has become embroiled in this material world? So the three modes of material nature actually acts. Now you can see it gives a broader perspective. And so we will start off with the first few verses, and then we can go. Kindly repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Param Bhuya Paravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñātvā munaya sarve param siddhimito gata. Jambavati, you can start. And then.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection.
Thank you. Text 2. Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagata sarge pinopachayante pralayena vyatanti cha.
By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution.
So here in the first two verses, Krishna is usually giving what is the benefit of knowing this knowledge. He is saying that having this knowledge, one becomes so fixed, then one acquires the nature of my own. Here Krishna is saying they don't become one with me, or they don't become equal to me. By nature, the jiva belongs to Krishna. The jiva has qualities identical to Krishna, but not the quantity. Quality-wise, we are one. Quantity-wise, we are different. So otherwise, if quantity-wise we are same, then how is it that Krishna's material nature is affecting us? It shouldn't, right? Because think about it. Previously, the sages would curse each other. If they were equally powerful sages, one sage would curse other sage, other would say, I'll counteract your curse because I'm equally powerful. So, all right, text 3. Mamayo nirmahad brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Satwat, and then you can get to Kennedy in the back. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata.
Thank you. Here, Krishna is giving a little bit of background on where it is, how the life begins. Usually, there is a big debate in the scientist world or the scientific world, like where the life begins. Krishna is saying this is how life begins. The material nature actually is my energy, and I impregnate material nature with matter. Otherwise, a scientist can never solve the problem. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? It's an impossible problem to solve. Text 4. Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapita.
It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving Father.
So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, he tells that the scorpion, in the previous days in the villages where they would harvest grain, rice and everything, and they would store in one particular room before they were getting packed. There was a pile of rice that would be there, and then the scorpion would go and enter into the rice, and it would lay eggs. And when the small baby scorpions hatched, the eggs hatched, the small baby scorpions would come out of the rice. It would seem as if rice is giving birth to scorpions. But this example is actually used in the purport that Krishna is impregnating this material nature with the jivas, and it seems as if the material nature is giving birth. We have this like born of earth, and then when a person is leaving the body, returning to the earth. Yes? Yeah. It seems as if born of earth and returning to the earth seems like scorpions coming out of rice, but actually the seed-giving Father is Krishna. Without Krishna, our life is impossible here. Unless He impregnates us, no thank you very much. I can't get a body, I can't get this material nature, nothing. That is Krishna. Without whose presence, nothing will work. Text 5. From here, it gets into the main topic at hand, which is the three modes of material nature. Sattvam rajas tamaiti guna prakriti sambhava nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Online, please.
Hare Krishna, Guru.
Hare Krishna. Shamchandra Prabhu, you read and then you pass on to someone else.
Yes, Guruji.
Thank you.
Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Next, Brajalata.
Thank you. So here Krishna is saying these material modes consist of goodness, passion, and ignorance. In one sense, they are what are called modalities. And the living entity, when it comes in contact with the material nature, you become conditioned. One example, so we'll get into the nitty-gritties of it. And then Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that because the next question will come is, when did we come in contact with material nature? When did Atma come in contact with material nature? If material world is suffering and trouble and temporary, there must be some cause and effect that has happened. Prabhupada says it's anadi or beginningless. Don't give too much of importance on where, when, how did I come. Because I have been in this world since time immemorial. The word anadi means beginningless. And why the beginningless is used is, how do you calculate the beginning? Beginning means what? A starting point in time? But this word, I might have been here for maybe, who knows, 100 lifetimes of Brahma. So what is the time factor? Time itself stops. Let me give a more concrete example. This is Kali Yuga. Before that is what? Dwapara Yuga. Before that is? Before that? So 4 yugas constitute one Divya Yuga. One set of 4 yugas constitutes one Divya Yuga. In one day of Brahma, 1024 such Divya Yugas come. And at the end of Brahma's day, there is a partial devastation. Brahma goes to sleep. Everybody, all the jivas are suspended. Just like an office that is bustling with activity during daytime becomes silent in the night. And then Brahma wakes up the next day and the creation again begins for 1024 Divya Yugas on the day of Brahma. And in one day of Brahma, 14 Manus come and go, 14 Indras come and go. And Brahma lives for 100 such years. The lifespan of Brahma, according to our calculation, is 311 trillion 420 billion some change years. So, before that, another Brahma was there. Before that, another Brahma was there. So, and understand, at the end of lifetime of Brahma, there is complete devastation, which means the material nature, the space, everything as you see, it gets Mahavishnu. He inhales and everything goes back to him. There is no space, there is no water, there is nothing. Because at the beginning of Brahma's life, Lord Vishnu actually has to find some corner of the universe. He has to create the space. He has to create material ingredients. He has to put everything in shape. Then the life begins. And so for me, when I say beginningless, which Brahma's lifetime? Which everything was gone. When Brahma didn't exist, there is no question of time. So which time? So it is hard to calculate. And that's why Srila Prabhupada says, don't go too much into when, where, how. Even if you go up to Brahma, somehow or other, I'll do like severe austerity. I go up to Brahma, and then I ask Brahma, so tell me, how did I come? When did I come into this, God-forsaken place of material existence? He says, I don't know. You might have come. My predecessor was there. You might have come. You should go ask my predecessor. Where is your predecessor? I don't know where he exists. So Srila Prabhupada says, better go back to Krishna and ask. He is the person I can give you the right answer. If that's a burning curiosity within you that I have to find, nobody in this material world can give you an answer except Krishna. So, but take Krishna's words. If you are coming in contact with the material modes, you are conditioned by it. And what do you mean by quote unquote conditioned? We'll discuss a little bit at this length. So far, so good. Okay, we'll do a few more verses and I'll take some question and answers. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam sukha sangena badnati Jnana sangena chanaga.
Hare Krishna. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge.
Thank you. So here, the mode of goodness is much more purer than other modes. But it is the word condition is used. Conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. So in this mode, people think, oh, I'm so happy, I'm so better than others. That is another form of conditioning. Or I'm so intellectually superior than others. So that is a form of conditioning. But mode of goodness is better because at least you are able to see things as they are. Text 7, please. Rajoragatmakam vidhi Trishna sanga samudbhavam Tannibadnati kaunteya Karma sangena dehinam. Vrajalatna Mataji, who should read next?
Mita Mataji.
All right.
Hare Krishna. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So mode of passion, if somebody is conditioned by a mode of passion, then there is unlimited desires and longings. There is no satiation. No matter how much money a person has, I need more. I'm not satisfied. How many situations or experiences you undergo, you're not satisfied. You need more, more, more. And then because of this, the problem is when I am thinking I need more, which means I need either more money, more position, more this, more that in life, and you are bound by fruitive works, which means that my work should give me some fruits and I want to enjoy. So Krishna is saying that they are bound to material fruitive activities and they are conditioned by desires and longings of this world. There is no end to it. I mean, with all due respect to the personality that I'm talking about, that I own an electric car company, a space company, a boring company, and another company, but I still need to spend $44 billion on a social media company. No end. Text 8. Tamastvajnanajam vidhi Mohanam sarvadehina Pramadalasya nidrabhes Tannibadnati bharata. Online.
Brajava Madhavi Devi Dasi, please read. Thank you.
O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul.
So here, Krishna uses the word tu, but in the translation, he says tu means it's a very peculiar condition, the pure Atma or the spirit soul full of knowledge and happiness. When you enter into ignorance, the word tu is but, means that you become conditioned by the mode of ignorance. And the mode of ignorance is laziness, sleep, indolence. And the problem is that your knowledge is completely covered. Here it says that ajnana jam and then mohanam sarvadehinam. If you see the word mohanam sarvadehinam, mohanam means I am illusioned. Sarvadehinam means all the souls. So that is the nature of mode of ignorance, is that it just covers the knowledge of the living entity. You can't even think properly. I mean, forget, oh, sir, it's too highfalutin. Can you drink and drive? Really? No? You cannot? It's a joke. Why not? Because your faculty is so impaired to the extent you can't even know what is going on the road. You are ordinarily a sober person. Even a kid can drive, a teenager. Kid is, hey, under 16, don't drive. But you get a proper license, you drive. And everybody can drive, everybody can know what to do, what not to do. And they are aware of knowledge and so on and so forth. But if you drink, then your judgment and everything is so impaired that the rules of the road and the situational awareness is completely covered. Yes or yes? So if that is the case with an ordinary activity like driving, then what to speak of spiritual knowledge? Right? We'll do a few more verses. So these are it always goes in set of three. Krishna is going to talk of the qualities. Here in the first three verses, he mentioned the characteristics of mode of goodness, characteristics of mode of passion, and characteristics of mode of ignorance, and how they condition the jiva. Right? Next few verses. Text 9. And what is the result of associating with the modes of material nature? Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta.
Smita Mataji?
Hare Krishna. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So mode of goodness conditions one to what? And mode of passion? Mode of ignorance? But there is a special qualification of mode of ignorance, which is covering one's knowledge. So you can see how, when that is the reason why, if you have this knowledge, then it makes sense on why you should not consume certain things or consume certain things. Why there are certain things forbidden and why there are things that are not forbidden. So if you don't know this, then people will say, how does it matter? Who cares? I don't care. Whether I do this or I do that, I drink this or drink that, doesn't matter. But Krishna is saying, no, this material world is divided into the modes of material nature. Every object is divided into modes of material nature. And when you consume something, then you are putting that mode into your body. And that's how it acts. Again, highfalutin. Same with the earlier driving under influence. You put some substance into your body, it acts on your body, yes or yes? It's like, you get pulled over for DUI and you can say, no, I drank like 4 bottles of alcohol, but it doesn't have any effect on me, I'm good. Nobody will believe you because there is a cause and effect. There is I'm just saying that it can be for anything, and then we will get more into it. Text 10, and then for the next set of verses, 2 more verses, then we'll stop. Rajastamascha Sattvam bhavati bharata Rajaha sattvam tamaschaiva Tamaha sattvam rajastata. Anybody online left?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes. Oh, Sukamala Mataji, please do.
Yeah. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
Okay, one more verse and then we can. Actually, we will stop here because this is more of the qualities. The one point I wanted to add is that it might seem from the example that mode of ignorance seem yuck, I don't even want to do it. But the fact of the matter is, Krishna is saying you cannot be lumped into one particular mode of material nature. The three modes are constantly acting, and in the last words he mentions there is always competition for supremacy. Sometimes the mode of goodness is prominent, sometimes the mode of passion, and sometimes the mode of ignorance. And in a way it is needed. If there was no mode of ignorance, you will not be able to sleep at night. Sleep is the nutritionists, psychologists, mental health professionals, you ordinary grandmothers in India, you should sleep, otherwise you will not be able to do. Yes or yes? If you take Bhagavad Gita and say, oh, no, it's mode of ignorance, I will not sleep for at all, then in next 10 days you'll permanently sleep. Yes or yes? Yeah. So the whole idea is, we have modes of material nature. There are two aspects to it. Which is the prominent mode of material nature that I am in? That is the question number one. And second thing is that we have to cultivate as much the mode of goodness to actually be happy and healthy in this world. Mode of passion and mode of ignorance, they are useful to an extent, but ignorance should be really, given some distance. If person has to, for example, sleep 12 hours a day, then you can see those persons are actually having that kind of, they carry over for the rest of the day that same kind of mentality. So maybe they need to work on whatever they need to work on, Or if I sleep only for 2 hours and I'm not able to work, then it's another problem as well. So far, so good. I'll take some more questions, Kennedy, and then we can start.
Hare Krishna. So does that explain why some people who say overwork themselves end up having trouble sleeping because they're so involved in the modes of passion that they're kept up by their own desires?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point you brought up. Their mind is unable to detach because they are so much into that. And usually often what happens is that eating and sleeping becomes like a side job, or actually a daily inconvenience for getting accomplished my objectives. Yeah, thank you. And in 18th chapter, Krishna does mention about what happens, what is the mode working like that. But any more questions before we, yes, Jambavati.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So in the verse 1 purport, Prabhupada says that if one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of the devotional service. So I'm not really able to understand that sentence, like what is philosophical speculation, and then how does that help with the devotional service?
Thank you. So my request to you is, your answer will come in the verse number 26, 1426. So at that point of time, the devotional service part will be covered, but the philosophical speculation we will discuss. And it's an excellent question that you brought up. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Text 11, unless there are more questions. All right. Here, these are the symptoms of a person who is in different modes of material nature. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyad vivruddham sattvamityuta. Online, is everybody done?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes.
The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge.
Thank you. Text 12. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanam ashamaspriha rajasyetani jayante vivriddhe bharatarshaba.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop.
Kennedy, does that answer your question? Yeah, you can see that. So if you see, the whole world is constituted by these modes. And you might say, 3 modes, all the whole world's activities are pushed by that. Okay, what are the primary colors in the computer? How many are there? But from there, how many colors come out? Almost infinite. There is no limit to the number of colors. So the modes of material nature, passion, ignorance, and goodness, when they come together, they create unlimited number of actions, and it seems that there is a variety of actions and varieties of feelings and emotions. But Krishna is saying it just boils down to one thing. This is the modes of material nature that are just acting upon the jiva. Text 13. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivriddhe kuru nandana. Everybody done online?
When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested.
Hari Bol, Mekla, thanks. So, obvious, right? I mean, when you come in contact with certain substances, naturally this becomes. You can see, I don't, with all, no offense meant to anybody, but the morning after the happy hour, it's like it's a drag. It is. But having said that, it's nothing to do with any set modes of material nature. They act on the living entity, and that's why sometimes people are like, "Oh man, I don't want to move a muscle," and just in the mode of ignorance. And sometimes you want to be in the mode of passion, and everything is needed. Because if you, especially in Kali Yuga, which is mode of passion and mode of ignorance are very prominent. Mode of goodness is little less. And therefore, partially it is our situation, but more important, it's the nature of Kali Yuga that we feel harassed and stressed, right? I don't want to work, but it's just like so much of pushing, and people, it's modes that are at play. Okay, text 14. Yada sattve pravriddhetu pralayam yati dehabhrad tadottama vidan lokan amalan pratipadyate. Okay, if everybody is done online, then we can have.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You didn't get a chance, please. Yes, yeah. Thank you.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages.
Thank you. So here the 3, Krishna is saying what is the destination. He said characteristics, and then what is the nature, and then now he's saying what is the destination. When one dies in the mode of goodness, where does he go? He becomes a hog in the gutter. He goes to the mad. It's beautiful. Yeah, next verse. Text 15. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tata pralinas tamasi mudhayonishu jayate. Okay. All right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Gaurav, go for it. Yes.
When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Hare Krishna.
So when you have this information, then will you be or will you not be careful? Right? Now this actually puts a sharper focus into certain lifestyles or rules and regulations that they have been told. Oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And then this generation is like, I don't care, I will do it. There is a lack of knowledge on those who are trying to force on the kids, because they themselves do not know, but they know what is good and trying to tell the kids. But at the same time, having complete knowledge will help one to know why. Because if, for example, let's take the case of DUI. And a person is heavily intoxicated. And then, God forbid, if that person meets end because of a fatal accident while in that intoxicated state, Krishna is saying what will happen? Which birth? Really, you missed. And human form of life actually is this golden opportunity to know all this and act so that we can become Krishna conscious and not suffer the indignity of born in an animal life. You might say, what's the problem? Animal life is cool. No, it's not. Trust me. It is not. I will not show the video here, but I'll post the link, hopefully in the Bhakti Sastri channel. And the video is about, it's a National Geographic, it's about Arctic geese. I'll just leave it at that, just the title. And then you think animal life is fun, you watch that video and you will definitely have second thoughts of how much fun, quote unquote, fun is animal life. And I'll give a simple example. When we get up in the morning, we have a beautiful kitchen. Beautiful. Everybody's kitchen is beautiful, by the way. I'm not here proponent of a luxury kitchen with high-end, not high-end appliances. No. Everybody's kitchen is beautiful. At least you can cook something. You have as a human being, you have the facilities. You have a beautiful pantry, you have grains, you have vegetables, milk, fruits, sugar, salt. You can take and make beautiful things out of it and offer it to Krishna and have it. Yes or yes? If a mother comes and then if the child comes to the mother and then the mother doesn't say, okay, wait, let me go and get something for you. She doesn't go off into the mountains and hunt like a mountain lion. Yes or yes? But for animals, it is a fact. There is no other way. Think about it. The chicks are there high up in the tree, waiting for the mother bird to get them food. They are hungry like anything, but they don't have any control whatsoever. And the mother can't say, wait here, I'm going to kitchen. No, she has to hunt food and get the food. And hunting the food is not an easy thing. It's not like you go to the market and buy. They have to literally hunt and try to get the food. It's not an easy life in animal life. So please, when one becomes Krishna conscious, now that you are all really pious souls, that you have stumbled into the temple one way or other, having this human form of life, we have won the jackpot. And the best, to the extent that we can make use of it to advance spiritually, to that extent we are free from the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, it's just inevitably, we'll be again and again doing the same thing. All right, text 16. Any questions? Yes, Satya Sankalpa Prabhu.
I have a two-part question actually, maybe separate. So first question is, what what is the driving force behind anybody in a case where like one mode is more prominent in them than the others? Like what causes that?
Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the modes acquired from the previous birth. That is one thing. So whatever mode, for example, here we are saying that a person who dies in the mode of passion, then you take birth among the fruitive activities, persons who are engaged in fruitive activities. Naturally, you are placed in suitable to your mode. And Krishna says in the 16th chapter when we come, if you are a demoniac person, then I'll place you in the demoniac species. So that way you can see how the modes are linked up from the previous life. And the one thing I'm saying, Satya Sankalpa Prabhu, is the mode that is prominent and that is needed. For example, if you are a businessman, your prominent mode is mode of passion plus ignorance. If you are a Kshatriya, your prominent mode is mode of passion that drives you to work. But somehow or other, to control that, it's important. It's like you are affected by a particular mode, but then to temper that mode and advance spiritually, that is the thing. Not that I give up my mode. I'm in the mode of ignorance. I'm just a Shudra. I should become a Brahmana. No, Krishna is saying don't do that. Whichever mode you are in, work in such a way that and offer the results to me. You will achieve perfection in that mode that you are in. Don't try to artificially change, because Krishna is saying you will not actually be successful. Arjuna wanted to give up fighting. The whole of Bhagavad Gita starts with this singular thing. Arjuna says, I don't want to fight. I want to become a yogi. I want to go to the forest. I want to live by begging. The fighting is not for me. Krishna says time and again in Gita, you are saying no, but driven by your own nature, you will fight nevertheless. And Krishna uses the word helplessly. People helplessly are bound by the modes. People helplessly act. That is actually Krishna is saying that these are the modes that are pushing you. The modes are pushing us, but we have to make sure that we are not completely conditioned, but use those modes in such a way that we execute our spiritual duties as well.
Actually, my second question was that in context of devotional service, how do you then look at material modes? But I think you kind of answered that already.
Thank you. For example, if I want to earn money, and that's your nature to earn money, and that's your destiny, you get a lot of money, that you cannot control. As much as a person wanting money and that money is not in the destiny, you won't get it, that you cannot control. If the plus happens, which means that a lot of money is coming to me according to my destiny, I cannot control that either, but I have a choice whether I can use that money for Krishna service, excess money. Or I can use that money for my own senses and sense gratification. That money will bind me, or that money can actually help me progress in bhakti. I'll tell a beautiful story. We have some time. Krishna's sons in Dwarka, they were playing in the forest. Oh, sorry. Any other before I go? All good? Thank you. Krishna's sons were playing in the forest. And they were playing the ball, and the ball went and fell in a well. And they peeked into the well. There was this beautiful lizard. The lizard was having bright colors and very attractive. If you are into that kind of thing, I've seen people praise snakes as, people talking to reptiles or referring to reptiles as if they are their loved girlfriends or something like that. They're so cute and so on and so forth. So they saw this lizard, and then they tried their best to get out of that lizard. They thought lizard was trapped in this well. And for those who don't have the context, everybody has a context of well and India and everything. Yeah. And that, so they tried to get it out, they couldn't. Then they go to Krishna, and Krishna, he's, oh, Father, we have this beautiful lizard in the well, it's stuck, we want to free that lizard, but it's not coming out, help us. So Krishna comes, he puts his left hand, And he pulls out the lizard, and the lizard comes out. As soon as the lizard comes out, that lizard turns into a very beautiful demigodish form. And Krishna is, of course, all-knowing. He is the supreme absolute truth. He asked, "Oh, who are you? How did you change from being a lizard to this beautiful form of this demigod-like form?" And that lizard says, "In the previous life, I was King Nriga. And I did so much of charity. I did that kind of charity like compared to the sand particles on the shore and the stars in the moon. I gave unlimited number of charity." And then Krishna asks, like, "Well, how, if you give charity, you should be in a very good position. How did you become a lizard?" Therein the problem comes. He says that I gave hundreds and thousands of cows in charity. And then I had hundreds of thousands of cows. The daily brahmanas would come. I would take one set of cows and give it to one brahmana. And so maybe hundreds of cows. Then what happened, without anybody noticing it, from that hundreds of cows, one cow, it went back from the herd that I gave to this brahmana, went back into the main pool herd. And then I gave, the next brahmana came and I gave another set, but that cow was included in this set. And both the brahmanas started fighting. The first brahmana said, "Hey, you gave this cow to me already, and now you are giving to this brahmana." King Nriga said, "Please, it's a mistake. I didn't mean to give it. And he goes to the second brahmana. He says, look, this cow that I gave it to you, I already promised to that brahmana, first brahmana. Now give me that cow, and in return I'll give you hundreds of cows." There is one problem with brahmanas. They are possessive of what they get, and they are satisfied with what they get. If it was a Vaishya in place of, he said, "Well, take it, good deal. 100x return." No, this is what. And the both brahmanas started arguing, and both got angry, and they left that place. And he said, "When I died, I went to Yamaraj." Then Yamaraj said, "My God, look at you. The amount of charity you did was amazing. A small problem. You know the problem. You just mixed up that charity. So for that small problem, you can either take the results of your problem first and then enjoy long and prosperous life later, or you can enjoy long and prosperous life and then face consequences for that one problem. What do you want to do?" Then he says, "Okay, it's like eat the cake first before the icing kind of situation here. So it's okay, let me take the consequences first," and then become a lizard. So Krishna mentions that he says to his sons that look at the consequences of stealing. Literally, it was not even stealing. He says, look at the consequences of taking a brahmana's property. He said, no matter how powerful you are, if you take or even think of taking a brahmana's property, then you will be condemned to hell. Though he instructs his son in general to all the world, never ever think of even usurping or grabbing brahmana's property. It's very important. You might say, why am I bringing the story here with the context of the question he had? Then this is the thing. King Nriga was so fortunate that he met the Supreme Absolute Truth face to face. By doing heaps of charity, you cannot meet Krishna. But how did he meet Krishna? Is that a valid question? The Acharyas say that amongst the millions of charities he did, he distributed Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita to Brahmanas. Just by that act, the Lord was pleased and he came and he gave darshan to King Nriga. So Satya Sankalpa Prabhu, even if you unknowingly do some bhakti with the modes of passion, then you never know, like King Nriga. Good? Thank you. All right, more questions, comments? This is 27 verses, so we can go really fast. Not 11th chapter, which had 55. Yes, your good name, sir? Shikhar. I'm aware that you esteemed guests have come, and then I'll give a chance once. We have a Bhakti Sastri class where the students are enrolled and we have exams, so I will definitely give a chance for you also to do the translation, but please do tell about your question.
Sure. So in the verses where Lord Krishna describes the mode of the mode of goodness, he mentions that the result of that mode is happiness. Now in this modern world or Kali Yuga, we keep hearing around us that the final destination or what we want ultimately is happiness. So is that the mode we should always focus our activities, or is there something more to it?
Thank you. Everybody of us wants to be happy. Is that a factual statement, or is there a disagreement from some quarter? That's true. Even an ant wants to be happy. The answer to that question is, while we are all seeking happiness, and it's a two-part answer. First part is that the modes are never in vacuum, which means I cannot be purely situated in the mode of goodness, because Krishna says there is always competition. So to say that I'll purely be happy with no other modes in play, that is not possible in this world. That is point number one. The second aspect is Kali Yuga, where modes of passion and modes of ignorance are super prominent. So it is really, even though I want to be happy, there is a struggle for material existence. So our choice lies in how much will I want to participate in the madness that is Kali Yuga. Do I really want to be in the rat race, work 18 hours a day? Of course, everybody needs to do some amount of work to pay the bills. I'm not saying you shouldn't. But to what extent I want to do it? To what extent I'm willing to sacrifice other things? That is question number one. And the last thing is, if you want to be ultimately happy, then one should be happy on spiritual platform. In the material platform, even though one tries to be happy, there will be few moments of happiness, but unless I lift myself, to be happy is hard. One example is at the ship, at the sea. If you are thrown in the middle of Pacific Ocean, 700 miles from the ocean on a dingy boat, will you always have smooth waters? Inevitably, one day the weather will be great, because I was actually looking at, somebody sent me, some person actually traveled all over the world, solo traveling on a small boat with all whatever. They were describing like, oh, one day the weather was great, and then the next was stormy, choppy, and I said, this is the modes of material nature. This is the world. As long as you're at sea, right, Shikhar, you can expect mixed happiness in this world. The only time you will be really away from the sea or effects of sea is you rise above it. And how do you rise above it? We'll come to 26th verse, where we can answer Jambavati and your question as well. Is that okay? Thank you. So, but we should be as much situated in the mode, because the thing is, really, if that is the case, what's the difference? I'll be mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. No, we should be careful to not actually get into the modes of passion and ignorance too much. And you can see the thing, Kennedy did mention, some people are working 18 hours a day with that thing to build an empire, but then you are losing your health, your family, and at the end, it's like your trade-offs, are they worth it? Text 16. Karmana sukritasyaho Satvikam nirmalam phalam Rajastu phalam dukkham Ajnanam tamasa phalam. All right, Shikhar, you can do. I mean, all four. You can do the translation. And your good name? Yamini. Okay, after that, Yamini. And your name? Rajiv. Okay.
Translation. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness, but action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness.
So we have control over our actions, and Krishna is saying what are the results. If you want to be happy, Krishna is saying perform activities in the mode of goodness. Perform activities in the mode of passion, the result is misery, and perform activities in the mode of ignorance, it's foolishness. Yes, Kennedy.
While some actions are inherently good, passionate, or ignorant, can your intention on the same action change it into a certain outcome?
Yes. If it is necessary. For example, I'll tell you one thing. Anesthesia and deep sleep, it seems to be like mode of ignorance. But if you don't, it's mode of ignorance, don't give me anesthesia. Good luck. So if it is based, if the doctor says you are unable to sleep, you are able to sleep only 4 hours because of sleep, condition or some medical thing, and if you have to take some medication which you're not addictive for at least restoring your health, then yes. So you can see intention does matter. And the second thing is your spiritual standing matters. Some of the, for example, Lord Shiva consumed poison to save the world. And we don't do that because their personalities, they have much more power. So intention and your spiritual status or standing or power does definitely matter. But this is Krishna is saying, in the modes of material nature, one should be careful. Next verse, please. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramadamohau tamaso bhavato jnanam evacha.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance develops foolishness, madness, and illusion.
Thank you. Text 18. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya guna vrittista adho gachanti tamasa.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planet, and those in the abdominal mode of ignorance go to the hellish worlds.
Thank you. So you can see now it makes sense. Now rules and regulations does make sense. Yes or yes? Yes. See, so you do this, you don't do this, then I'll say, why should I do that? Right? Yeah. Text 19. I think now Jambavati can start back. Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drishtanupashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. Oh, okay. Do this. You complete.
When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, the reason I said is Satya Sankalpa and they didn't get a chance to read. So next two verses they can read. Here. Go to that verse 19. Say 19, when one properly sees. And pull up verse number 327. Duplicate this, yeah. 327, I think. So kindly repeat after me. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimodhatma kartaham iti manyate. Satya Sankalpa.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature.
And please read the one that we just read, Jambavati read again.
14:9.
Yeah. 14:19, I guess.
When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature.
Is that matches? Because the question is, one of the common questions is, if modes are, if I am being pushed by the modes of material nature, why am I being held at fault? If somebody put a gun to my head and asked me to shoot another person, the person who held a gun to my head should be responsible, not me. Here also the modes of material nature at play. Every activity is, Krishna is saying that is true, but because you are conditioned, you are actually kind of taking on to it. If you are transcending the modes of material nature, Krishna is saying, if you understand that this whole material world actually is carried out by the modes of material nature, and if I see like that, then I become the same nature as the Supreme Lord. But till you have not that awareness, Krishna is saying you are responsible because you are acting on ignorance. One example I'll give you. You know what? Why not? I'll pick on Kennedy. She goes to Italy. I don't know. I've never been to Italy, but I'll just picking up Italy. And she rents a car and she kind of drives the car. Little does she realize that you have to drive on the left, you have to drive on the right, and then and then she's like going willy-nilly, and she doesn't even realize you have to keep on the lane. She thought so, and then she just, and for some strange reason she thinks red means go and green means stop. Well, who knows? Strange country, fancy exotic location, who knows? And orange means like go at 200 miles per hour. That is what it is. And then, some inevitable incident happens and the police pulls over. And she says, look, I'm completely ignorant. I don't even know anything. Will she be excused? So when you came to Italy, you should have better been familiar with the rules and regulations of how the roads in Italy work. So human life, Bhagavad Gita is our manual. To say, Krishna is saying, Baba, in this human life, I have given you the intelligence to understand spirituality. Since you have the capacity to understand and you don't understand, you are at fault. So, but once you understand and you see that the modes of material nature are at play, then you attain to my divine nature. He says that he transcends the modes of material nature. And this transcendental or attains to the Supreme Lord who is transcendental, Krishna kind of asks those questions next. Text 20. And what happens when you transcend the modes of material nature, Krishna mentions here. Gunanetanatityatrin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto mritamashnute. Akhil?
When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life.
So if you, actually some of the times when you read Gita, you flip it around, it will be fun. When the embodied being is not able to transcend these three modes associated with this material nature, he cannot become free from the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, and cannot enjoy the nectar even in this life. So you can, when you flip it around, then you will say that what does it mean to transcend the modes of material nature? Which means that I will be taking on the material body again and again and be like pulled by the modes of material nature. Right? Text 21. Arjuna Uvacha Kairlingaistrīn gunanetān Atito bhavati prabho Kim acharah katam chaitams Trin gunanati vartate. Rupali Mataji.
Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior and how does he transcend the modes of nature?
So here Krishna gives in the next couple of verses the answer to the first two questions, which is by which symptoms one is known who is transcendental and what is his behavior or her behavior. And then we will go to the next question he'll answer in the later part, the most important question, how to transcend. Because when you transcend the modes of material nature, then you are free from the birth and death and so on and so forth. All right, next verses. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha Moham eva cha Pandava Nadveshti sampravrittani Nanivrittani kankshati Udasina vadasino Gunairyo na vichalyate Gunavartanta ityevam Yovatishtati nengate Samas dukkha sukha swasta Samaloshtam shakanchana Tulya priya priyodhira Tulya nindatma samstutihi Manapamanayostulya Tulyo mitrari pakshayo Sarvarambha parityagi Gunatita sa uchyate. Okay. You want to do? Okay, go for it. All right, why not?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed, through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities, such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature.
Thank you. Again, just Krishna in a nutshell is saying this material world is a place of dualities. If you expect praise, then you can expect blame. If you expect hot, you can expect cold. If you can expect health, you can expect sickness, rich, power. So you can see all these dualities, young, old age. Krishna is saying this material world is not going to change. This is the laws, the infallible laws that I have written for this world, and this is how it is going to. You better try to get out of it rather than fight this nature or think that we can change it. Having said that, we should always be compassionate on this world, do the best we can to help others, but one should have the overarching perspective. Otherwise, one gets frustrated. I've done so much of help to the poor to alleviate poverty, yet there is so much poverty. Or, I've fed so many poor people. There is so much hunger and there is so dissatisfaction. What's wrong with this world? And, why are some people born poor and rich? God is really cruel. No, this is the way Krishna has said that this is the world is. And you expect both. So when you have this expectation or the realistic expectation of the world, then you won't be disturbed with the changes. If I'll pick on someone, why not? Rupali Mataji, she's a nice lady. I'm not saying she goes to the movies, but just an example. If you take a ticket to go to you thought you're taking a ticket to go to a comedy movie, but somehow the ticket was given to a horror movie. Oh my God, what is happening? Well, the expectation was set incorrectly. You thought you were getting a ticket to a comedy movie, but actually it's a horror show. Similarly, the material world is a place where people think, I can be here forever and unlimitedly happy and blissful. Why am I not? Krishna is saying, this is not the place to have that kind of expectation. He's saying both will come. If you have that expectation, then it's better. Sorry, Rupali Mataji, I thought you raised your hand. Did you object to my example? Yes.
I have a question. Is it the description of a Sita Prajna or?
More or less. But here, Sthita Prajna is a person of steady intelligence and realized on a Brahman platform. This is Krishna is saying, how do you attain to my nature? How do you transcend the modes of material nature? And then Krishna explains in the next verse. It is Sthita Prajna, but Sthita Prajna plus. And I'll tell you why Sthita Prajna plus. Yes, Jaya Mataji.
So I'm still thinking about the analogy that you gave earlier and connecting here about man like putting a gun and then. What is the difference between when he is acting in a mode of goodness and when he's acting in a mode of passion or ignorance, when he has to think about how to perceive the outcome that would happen? What will happen? How he will feel at peace about in the two instances? Because that's like extreme example, but I'm trying to think of.
Which example, Jaya Mataji? Can you tell about the example?
Example, you said that someone is putting a gun and asking.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
So who is in the middle, like who someone is asking. So how his action or his thinking differ when he is in a mode of goodness versus in a mode of ignorance.
The example I gave was that you are being pushed. That gun can be filled with water, bullet, or some poison. The water is mode of goodness. You are pushed one way or other. That was the point I was trying to make.
But he will feel at peace when he knows that it's all Krishna's plan. That is the out.
So at peace is that, the same gun example, if there is the serious thing and then you push it, it's a water gun, you will feel at peace or you will feel scared?
Scared.
Water gun.
Oh no, not scared. Yeah,
So you know he's a friend. He's playing a prank on you, and you are just like, okay, go ahead. I don't mind. So mode of goodness is something like that. But you are nevertheless conditioned. You are expecting that water from the water gun, knowing it's a mode of goodness. Krishna is saying that you will be conditioned by that. You will be still in this world. You haven't transcended the world.
Okay.
But predominantly you will be in the mode of goodness. Like a Brahmana, like they mainly they're in the mode of goodness, at least supposed to be. And you know they follow their, you got to get up in the morning, do homa, do Vedas, you know, have the livelihood. It's like a calm mode of goodness kind of situation. But still you are conditioned. The problem is that Brahmana will think, I'm so happy, look at those fools suffering. And then look at me, I'm so superior intellect. So that is another form of conditioning. But it's better than mode of passion and mode of ignorance, but you are nevertheless conditioned. It's not like, oh, I'm the mode of goodness, I'm good. No, you're not good.
Okay, thank you.
No pun intended there. Yes, Shikhar.
Hare Krishna. The qualities which God have described here, I see it slightly being in contradictory to a lot of rules described in like varnashrams. For example, a Kshatriya who is there, he of course have to act according to his nature and passion. And that's why he has to treat an enemy like an enemy, right? So,
I see.
So similarly, there are other qualities here as well, which are a little bit contradiction to the varnashram dharma. So how do we take that in our practical lives? Yeah.
First of all, Krishna says that even though you are situated in any mode, you should act according to your mode. Don't change modes. As I said earlier, if I am a Vaishya, which means that I am primarily driven by mode of passion and ignorance. It's a combination. The Brahmana is mode of goodness, Kshatriya is mode of passion, Vaishya is a mixed mode of passion and ignorance, and Shudra is in the ignorance. But in Kali Yuga, there is no clear distinctions. I want to start with point number 1. Nobody is born a pure Brahmana, a pure Kshatriya, or a Vaishya, or a Shudra. It's very, very mixed in this age of Kali Yuga. But assuming that we will take your question was set in Satya, Treta, or some other yugas, let's take from that angle. If you are in the mode of passion, Krishna is saying, be who you are and fight accordingly. Kill your enemy, but don't think that you are killing them permanently and you are taking on the sinful reactions. Arjuna's exact argument was this in the first chapter. He said, if I kill my family members and my superiors, I'll be going to hell because of committing that act. And Krishna says, you're not the body, but you're spirit soul, and you need to do your duty. So as a Kshatriya, you have to kill, and it's a very unpleasant task, especially it's your own family members, which Arjuna had to face at the first chapter. But Krishna is saying, do your duty without considering pain or happiness, loss or gain. So have that kind of thing even though you are a Kshatriya. Same with, and don't change it. For example, I'll tell you one thing. Vaishya is going back, he's a Vaishya. He's getting loss after loss after loss. He looks at Brahmana. Man, this business is good. No investment, no seed capital needed. You just pick up, only seed capital is maybe you pick up some spoons and some fire homa, and then you put on some tilak and become a Brahmana and go. The problem is, Vaishya by nature tells lies. Yes or yes? Anybody bought a new car or used car? The salesman is super honest. I'm selling you at $500 below MSRP, and he'll show you the picture of the family. My family will be starving tonight if I sell less than this. That's a lie. Yes or yes? I mean, so my point here is, if that Vaishya, frustrated Vaishya becomes a Brahmana, then a person will come and say, okay, you know what sort of yajna I should do for overcoming this problem I have? Should I do this yajna or this yajna? Vaishya will say, this is good, anything is good. That Brahmana will be like, we have to be pakka. No, that is not true. This is what is. So you can see how it is. You cannot. So does it little bit help answer your questions? Yeah. So even that also, if a person is situated in Krishna consciousness or a spiritual life, any work doesn't seem too much. A Shudra also will be elevated person. Because even by my past work or by my past karma, I am born in a Shudra family, but that doesn't stop me from becoming God conscious. Rupali Master.
I would like to share what I understand by this. Who treats her like both friend and enemy, a person who has transcended the three modes. I understand that because the friend and an enemy and the person himself, all are in the the friend and enemy, they are acting according to their conditions too. And a transcendented person who has transcended, he's neither attached to a friend or he's not hating the enemy. So in that sense, he's seeing them equal, like they both are souls or something like that.
Perfect. Yes, that is true. That doesn't mean that Arjuna was, but that doesn't mean that externally you will be like that as well. Arjuna was like, Prabhu, please come here, I have to kill you. No, he is like, they were like, you are a coward, you have no thing. And the Kshatriyas have to rouse each other's anger to actually fight. But that if you are a God realized Kshatriya, you will know that this is just a play. You have to do it for the sake of doing your dharma. Just like a Vaishya having to lie and who is very aware of their lie, yet they know they have to do it as part of their karma. It is not like, but if you do it for your own sense gratification and false ego, then you become bound up. But if you do it in a more God-centric way, then you are not bound by the same actions. Because Arjuna said, my God, if I kill all my family members, I'm going to go to hell. Krishna is saying, if you don't kill, you will go to hell. So Krishna gives that decisive answers. Yes, Mata.
So Arjuna, in the first chapter, he represented a conditioned soul, and then after hearing all the knowledge, then he became transcendent.
Exactly. He was thinking, if I kill my family members, then I'll be responsible. Krishna said, I already put them to death. You are just an instrument. Yes.
My question is, why is it said that this knowledge is more important or the most important than the knowledge that was given in chapter 9?
That's really good question. That's a very intelligent question. If you are in the prison and if you are told that getting out of the prison is good and this all, but if somebody gives you the keys to get out, which is better? So Krishna is saying, I'm going to give you the modes of, now that I have told everything, what is your duty to overcome that? And in the 26th verse, he is kind of hitting it perfectly. Now I've told you everything about the prison and who I am. I'm the warden of the prison. Now, if you want to get out, this is how you need to get out. And it's perfect question for the next verse. 26th. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate All right, Satwat. Jaya, you didn't get a chance, right? Okay, please.
One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the mode of material nature, and thus come to the level of Brahman.
Here, because Arjuna asked, what are the qualities? What are the characteristics? What is the behavior? The key question he asks is how to transcend the modes of material nature. This is the answer. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevyate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages mam chayo avyabhicharena. Avyabhicharena means undeviated. Bhakti yogena. So Krishna is so clear. Bhakti yogena sevate. When you chant the names of Krishna, when you hear about Krishna, you have this effect. You can perceive it when you are in the temple in the full heat of a festival or some major thing. You'll say that oh my God, I felt in a different world, and now I am back to my yes or yes. So we can perceive it when you actually absorb in the devotional service to Krishna. You transcend the modes of material nature, and Krishna is saying that by staying in that position, one always remains free from the troubles of this material world. It's a very important and it's a very beautiful verse. Text 27. Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya cha brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ekantikasya cha. Satwat, please. There's one mic right there. It's non-functional? Okay.
Hare Krishna. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness.
Thank you. So here Krishna is saying that, you transcend the modes of material nature, which is you come to the level of Brahman. But this one, Krishna goes very deep on what is Brahman. Brahman is a state of being that is actually supported by Krishna. Krishna's effulgence is what is called Brahman. And he says that I am the basis of that Brahman. So one performs Bhakti Yoga to kind of not only achieve Krishna, but be free from the modes of material nature. It's a buy one, get one free process. So this is the 14th chapter. And the reason why it is mentioned here is that with the modes of material nature that has been so analyzed, they literally are being scrutinized so thoroughly, then one gets to know more about what needs to be done. For example, in the 17th chapter, Krishna talks about modes of material nature. He gives this, and in the 17th chapter, he says foods. In the mode of material nature, what type of mode of goodness, what is the kind of foods that people eat? Mode of passion, what kind of foods people eat? Mode of ignorance, what kind of foods people eat? So when you eat something, then Krishna is saying you'll be transformed, your body will be transformed to those modes, and consequently your behavior, destination, happiness, everything will be there. So you can see how eating restrictions, my God, why are you putting? Well, there is a reason, there is a science behind it. And if we can understand it, then following the rules becomes natural and easy. For example, I'll give a simple example, I'll stop. If you are a person suffering from diabetes and you don't know, and you are love sweets. Is that a good combination or a very bad combination? Exactly. You eat sweets, you enjoy it, but you don't know you're suffering severely and you don't know why you're suffering. Well, when you go to the doctor and you say, dude, you have diabetes, and then you seriously, that's the reason why your liver is failing, your eyesight is failing, you have high blood pressure, heart problems, you have to cut it down. So then you will be, that same sweets actually will become a poison for you. So in the same way, Krishna is saying, if you know the modes of material nature, then you know what to eat, what not to eat, what to avoid, what not to avoid. Because once you put that food in the body, for example, mode of passion, if you put food in the mode of passion, your body will become really passionate. You want to jump around and do stuff. It just becomes natural. Right? Once you ingest it, you can't overcome the effects of it, because this body belongs to Krishna, and Krishna is saying, this body belongs to me, the objects that you are consuming belong to me, the knowledge is yours. You should know, and then you should act accordingly. Having said that, past lingering habits will stay. For example, if a person is used to certain habit, consuming certain beverage for a very, very long time, it's not easy to overcome, and it's perfectly understandable. But through practice of yoga, one kind of can overcome that, especially bhakti yoga, or one tries to. It's not an easy process. Just because I know the knowledge doesn't mean my mind and senses, they have become completely enlightened, and then I don't do anything. It's still the past habits linger, and we do our best to overcome it. So one shouldn't feel too bad or too depressed about it. Oh my God, why did I read Gita? I was happy without reading Gita. Just like a person suffering with diabetes, like the liver, everything was failing, but I was still enjoying sweets. Why did I even go to the doctor? Better you went. All right, Hare Krishna Mata. If there are no more questions, we'll stop here. Yes, Satya Sankalpa Prabhu.
Prabhu, in 1426, why is the goal of Bhakti Yoga being termed as Brahman?
Excellent question. In the next semester, we'll do Nectar of Devotion. And Nectar of Devotion is what is called the magnum opus by Srila Rupa Goswami, which is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In that, the first things that we learn is the 6 qualities of pure devotional service. Then the 6 qualities of pure devotional service, the first quality is Kleshagni, which is that it destroys all suffering. And then you attended that semester? Okay. The next is Shubhada, means which is all auspicious. And the very idea is that if you do perform undevoted devotion, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna, the first step is you get these immediately. Brahman platform immediately. But the same thing is, but pure devotional service is so rare because at the advanced stages, it is the play of Krishna and the devotee, and that is not easy. Brahman platform, immediately you can feel it. As you come to the temple, you participate in Kirtan, and you do offer lamp to the Lord and sing Damodara Ashtami, you feel very like already it is gone. So that is a freedom from the modes of material nature, but you haven't completely achieved Krishna, lasting love for Krishna, and that will take time.
Pure devotion service, there's something beyond what is being referred to here.
The effects you will perceive are different. Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate is immediate. That is one explanation. The second explanation is that Brahman and Krishna are one and the same in one sense. So you will immediately feel the spiritual awareness or the spiritual touch when you transcend the modes of material nature. Because to achieve love of Krishna and that advancement, that is not straightforward. You shouldn't get the idea that I do bhakti and I get Krishna. Then they'll say, why is I'm not getting Krishna? Why am I pushed back into modes of material nature? Is that helpful?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Akhil.
I just had an extension to that same question. Does this mean that for lots of devotees who are in devotional service, they will, one of the intermediate destinations would be the impersonal Brahman?
No, it is just immediate cessation of modes of material nature. You will feel peace. It's not necessarily Brahman. Your goal is Krishna, but you will be immediately feeling the modes of material nature not pushing you. The whole purpose of modes of material nature is to push a conditioned soul. And when the conditioned soul takes shelter of Krishna by performing devotional service, the modes will pull back. The effects of modes pulling back is what is Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate.
Okay, bro.
No? Not
so, bro, I'll think about it.
Okay, so let's do the purport. Maybe that will help. 5 minutes? Everybody has 5 minutes, right? Thank you. Okay. This is a verse in reply to Arjuna's question, what is the means of attaining to transcendental position? As explained before, the material world is acting under the spells of the modes of material nature. One should not be disturbed by the activities of the modes of nature. Instead of putting his consciousness into such activities, he may transfer his consciousness to Krishna activities. Krishna activities are known as Bhakti Yoga, always acting for Krishna. This includes not only Krishna but his different plenary expansions such as Rama and Narayan. He has innumerable expansions. One who is engaged in the service of any forms of Krishna or of his plenary expansions is considered to be transcendently situated. One should also note that all forms of Krishna are fully transcendental, blissful, and full of knowledge and eternal. Such personalities of Godhead are omnipotent and omniscient, and they possess all transcendental qualities. So if one engages himself in the service of Krishna or his plenary expansions with unfailing determination, although these modes of material nature are very difficult to overcome, one can overcome them easily. This has already been explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto Krishna at once surmounts the influence of the modes of material nature. To be in Krishna consciousness or in devotional service means to acquire equality with Krishna. The Lord says that his nature is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge, and the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme, as the gold particles are part of a gold mine. Thus, the living entity in his spiritual position is as good as gold, as good as Krishna in quality. The difference of individuality continues. Otherwise, there would be no question of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means the Lord is there, the devotee is there, and the activity of exchange of love between the Lord and the devotee is there. Therefore, the individuality of two persons present in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the individual person, otherwise there would be no meaning to Bhakti Yoga. The point here is, Akhil, that unless one is on the same level as the Supreme Lord, there is no love. If the rasa between the devotees and the Lord, there has to be some equality. Otherwise, Krishna doesn't accept the rasa of Mother Yashoda or the bhav of Mother Yashoda or the gopis, unless there is no equality and they can give him that love. But to be situated on that love, you have to be situated on the Brahman platform or the spiritual platform. So immediately you will get on the spiritual platform where there are no troubles. But then as you pull further and further, then you will also be on the same level as Krishna, where you can exchange love. And one last point is, Krishna doesn't say me. When he says me, then it can qualify only Krishna. Then it can be Rama. What about Rama? What about Narasimha? Mamchaya avya vicharana. It doesn't mean, and Srila Prabhupada is translating that as well for the Brahman phrase. Thank you. All right. If there are any questions online before we... All right. One last point I wanted to make. There could be a little bit of adjustment in the schedule. I will let you know. I'll be traveling for couple of weeks, and then I'll post the schedule in the Bhakti Sastri. And then maybe we may have to adjust a little bit of schedule. I'm so sorry about it. And we may have, instead of having a class in November, we may have the next class in December. We completed 14, so it'll be 15, 16, 17, 3 more chapters, and the 18th is 2 classes, which will be 5 more classes. And then I will send out the updated list shortly, if that's okay with you. Any final questions or comments?
We will have it in complete December, or how it will be, Prabhu?
December, maybe 1 or 2 classes, and then we will just have a break for the Christmas. Maybe first or second week of December, and then if not, then I'll have all the classes starting in January as well. So, but I'll post the schedule, Shamchandra Prabhu. Is that okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Kennedy.
Krishna, thank you for class. I'm just wondering when the next homework is.
Homework, we'll send it out in the WhatsApp. It should be coming out soon.
I think now it's already sent, Mataji. So November 7th is the deadline for the first homework. They already mentioned, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Swati Mataji posted. November 1st is the deadline. Sorry, November 7th is the deadline for the first homework.
Sounds good. All right. Yeah. Anything else? Yes, Satat.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I had a somewhat side question regarding King Nriga. I wonder if it's appropriate for this class. Should I?
So you can ask, and then we can discuss. If it is, I can give a short answer. I'll give a short answer.
Yeah, I've heard some comment that basically King Nriga was not so intelligent that he wished to first obtain the reaction for the sinful activity and then obtain the result of pious activities. Whereas it would be more intelligent to get the result of pious activities first and then sinful activities. And I could not understand why.
Why you couldn't understand why he made that choice that we made?
I could not understand why it was unwise for him to make that choice.
Unwise for in the Acharyas say that there is when you take an animal form, then the modes of material nature will be like animalistic. Instead, you should take to human form and pursue Bhakti Yoga. And when you do that, then you might even destroy the sinful reactions of that particular past. Right? So if I have a long life where I perform devotional service, karmani nirdahati kintu cha, if I perform bhakti to Krishna, Krishna may even destroy that sin. I don't even have to experience.
Got it, Prabhu. Okay.
That's why it's better at any second of life, I want bhakti to Krishna in whatever form. And human form of life is much more easier than a lizard form. So he should not have asked for that first. That's what the Acharyas say.
All right, Prabhu, makes sense. Hare Krishna.
All right, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Yamin. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Shamchandra Prabhu. Yes. Hare Krishna, Kuldeep Prabhu.
When will be the exam?
Exam will be Jan end. We'll have time. We'll have plenty of time. We'll have plenty of time for the exam. No worries. Fortunately, it's not like... we'll have plenty of time for exam. I'll give you a heads up. We'll never have surprise quizzes here. We never had surprise quizzes. We'll never have surprise quizzes. All right. Yes, Jamavati.
So since sadly we'll not have any class in November, what do you suggest for the Bhakti Shastri students to do in this month to continue with the...
So my request is that we completed 5 chapters now. No, 4. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 5 chapters. Please to read, make notes. And this is a golden time just to recap and get deep into Prabhupada's books. So that what happens is before exams, you will not be in that much of anxiety. Cramming is not going to help for Bhakti Shastri. And so that would be definitely helpful. And I'll try my best to have 1 class in November for sure. But I will let you know and I'll post it. But I'm so grateful for your participation, Shamchandra Prabhu and Mataji and others, Naveen and everybody online. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya.
Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo Namo. Ananta Kota Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.